Hello, and welcome to the Counselor tutorial for managing the My Profile feature. There are two pathways to the My Profile feature. First off, you can click on Administration in the top menu bar and then select My Profile. Second option is to simply click on your name in the top right-hand corner. Both paths will take you to the same place. All right. Just working top to bottom here, you can see you can add your first and last name, of course. You can also include any applicable credentials after your last name. Then you can enter any title that you wish. This is primarily a focal point for providers because this title will show up on professional reports, patient reports, and chart notes. So you want to make sure you have the proper title in that place. Any other non-provider staff members, you can just enter whatever you wish here. You won't be creating reports typically, so it wouldn't show up anywhere else. With provider type, there are a whole series of options. If you have any questions about the options, please let us know. We're happy to assist in selecting the appropriate one. Of course, you can update your email address as well as password. You can also add in a profile picture. Now, the profile picture is primarily, once again, a focus for providers because this is something that can show up in email or text message notifications or confirmations. As part of the kind of automated systems within Counselor or other marketing type efforts, marketing emails, marketing letters, you can have the provider's profile picture display automatically. So you may already have one loaded. If so, you can certainly update it here. If you do not, you of course can add it new. Here you can have your license number. This is an optional field, of course. Beneath there, we can see there's the option for setting your notifications. Now, by default, Counselor will play a ding sound when a user chat is received. Right, so that's a pop-up message. You can deactivate that if you wish, or reactivate it on the fly. Moving forward here with fax messaging, if you fax out an email, fax out a report, you can receive an email letting you know that it happened to have failed. Right, so this is something where you can direct the email to wherever you wish. Perhaps you want all failed faxes to go to the same email address or to different email addresses. That's perfectly it's pretty fine up to you. There, of course, are other methods for seeing when a fax failed, specifically the dashboard widget for sent reports. But this is another nice way to receive notification that, hey, the professional report, for example, that fax failed. Okay. As we move down here, we look at text messaging. If you utilize the text messaging feature in Counselor, you do have the ability to have any user chats be sent out as a text message as well. So take, for example, if you're in between locations and someone chats you within Counselor, that chat can then be sent out as a text message to you. It could be your patient has arrived, or your next patient canceled, or whatever the case may be. You can receive it as a text message. Then you can reply to that text message with a message, of course, and it will be received by the person who sent it as a pop-up message on their screen. So they start off with a chat message, you receive it as a text, you reply back as a text, and they receive it as a pop-up message. You can also set a notification delay. This is basically saying, hey, don't send me the text message right away, right? Because you may see it on your laptop, for example, and you dismiss it. You don't need the text message. So in this case, if you send it to 1 minute or whatever time you wished, it would give you actually time to review that message prior to it being sent as a text message. As we move further down here, we can see the insurance information. This is information that the Counselor support team typically helps you get set up, but just so you're aware that it's there. So you can have, of course, your rendering provider and billing provider information, both for individual and for group, and this can be broken down on a clinic-by-clinic basis as well. So once again, this is the type of information we typically assist you with getting in place. So if you have any questions, please let us know. All right. One quick heads up, typically the other ID is left blank. There are some very specific informations typically revolving around Medicaid, but generally speaking, the other ID is left blank. All right. Now as we move further here, we can see the Apexedi credentials. This is where you can go in and put in your login credentials for Apexedi, and that may be the same across clinics or it may differ. Once again, this is something that oftentimes is most frequently is set by an administrator in your clinic and oftentimes assisted by the counselor support staff. So much of this information you would just maybe be aware it's there, but wouldn't need to change very often, if at all. It's important to note that while the Apex EDI credentials are located here, if you use ClaimMD as your clearinghouse, that is located under the clinic list area. So that's a clinic level setting, whereas the Apex EDI is a provider level setting. Okay. Moving on to the next area, Counselor also has multi-factor authentication. This is a tool that enables you to use a secondary device to verify that, in fact, yes, it's the person who's supposed to be signing in is signing in, right? You may have some exposure to this through your banking systems when you log in, or your healthcare systems, where you get a secondary process to verify that, yes, in fact, it's you. So if this is activated for you, you will see instructions on how to get the system set up. Counselor uses Google Authenticator app to assist with this. So these are the basic instructions there. If you are a clinic administrator and you want to add multi-factor authentication for specific users or for your full staff, you can go into the user list, and on a person-by-person basis within their security settings, you can activate multi-factor authentication. Okay. Of course, if it's not activated for you, then there won't say anything about instructions. You don't have to worry about it. Now moving down here, there's options for scanning. This is basically saying what version of the software that you have in place. So if you do run into any issues with scanning, the Counselor support team will likely have you review this and likely upgrade to the newest versions of the software. It's a very simple process that we can talk you through. Then there is the Snapshot feature. The Snapshot feature is an app that Counselor has made available for Android, Apple devices, on smartphones and tablets. And it gives you the ability to use that device to take a picture of whatever it is you want to capture, the patient's photo ID, their insurance card. Maybe it's the hearing instrument that they stepped on, right? You can grab that image very easily through the Snapshot app. There are two options available. There is the specific Counselor mobile app that's available through Google Play or iTunes App Store. There's also a generic QR reader app that works as well. And we would just encourage you to start with the Counselor app. If you run into issues, you can certainly reach out to our support team. They'll likely encourage you to then go with the more generic QR reader, and they can talk you through that process very easily. Okay. Then lastly here, in this set of options, we have the display options. This gives you the ability to determine how your screen, how your Counselor interface looks and feels, right? So you have the color scheme that you can flip around. Now, it's important to note that any changes here will only affect your view of Counselor. So you're not changing anyone else's. So you can go ahead and you can try out different color schemes, click close and then save, see how it looks, go back in, test something else, and see what you prefer. Okay. There's also the ability to decide what information you see for the patient when you're in their profile. So this could be specifically in the patient administration screen. This could be when you're working on an invoice or a visit. There's a header with the patient information. You can decide if it'll display their date of birth or the patient number. Maybe you work in a hospital system where you want to see that medical record number or their social security number. Whatever the case may be, you can change that around. Okay. And then the last option here is that if you use a VoIP system, you have the ability for Counselor to basically tell the browser to recognize that, hey, there's a phone number, and that makes that phone number clickable. So you can then go into patient profile, see that there's a phone number, and then that number becomes clickable, so you can launch your VoIP system directly from there. Okay. And the last overall option here is the signature. Now this is another area where Counselor frequently assists with getting this in place, but there are some options. So first off, you do have the ability, well, first off, to view your current signature. You can also draw it online if you wish. Most commonly, though, you would access the fax email form and click on Form. That will open up a PDF that you can print off, you can sign, you can have multiple staff members within your organization sign, and then you can either fax or email this back to Counselor, and then we'll take those images, clean them up, and then load them in for you. Okay. In addition, if you already have an image of your signature, you can go ahead and upload it as well. So maybe you've already gone through this process in another way. You already have the image. Great. Go ahead and upload it. You'll see it here and then once again, you go ahead and click Save. And really with any changes you make here, whether you just simply updated your email address or your title or your password, just make sure you go ahead and click Save, and that will lock in any of those changes. You can see the Save Changes at the top of the screen telling you that yes, in fact, it was saved successfully. Of course, if you have any questions about utilizing the My Profile feature, please give us a call, email us, live chat with us. We are always happy to help. So thank you very much for joining us for the Counselor tutorial for the My Profile feature.